Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Longberry Robinson and Friends. It's seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 a day. I would like to welcome Miss Denise Smith Allen, Dr. Denise Smith Allen.
Hi, Ron.
And Mr. Henry Hatter.
Welcome. Thank you, Ron, and thank you to Dr. Denise.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Good to see you too.
And welcome to our millions of viewers worldwide. Let's talk about Trump, President Trump, and his tweets. If I was a Republican, I would be embarrassed as hell to support this man. I don't understand that it appears that every time he tweets, he's grandstanding. Okay, he wants to stay in the public eye, but these tweets is getting him constantly in trouble. And people are beginning to reject. His population is 30%, 34%, the lowest of any U.S. president in history. This can't continue. He's supposed to be the leader of the free world, and that he's not taking his job seriously. I mean, he's not on that reality show anymore. Denise, what is your thoughts on Trump tweets and his?
Well, Ron, it's troubling. I mean, to say the least, that he has put it in the minds of the people that support him that the news is fake, and therefore he doesn't want to be challenged. So, if, like most other presidents have had an opportunity to engage the press in the Rose Garden or whatever, and they have question and answers and those kinds of things. I don't know that he's comfortable with that. I think, from what I see at this point, it appears that he wants to make sure that he is always in control, which that is another subject. But being in control, he's able to tweet out to the people who support him things that help solidify their position. It's unfortunate, though, because he doesn't realize the gravity or the seriousness of that, because in reality, whatever he's putting out there, it's a blanket thing that happens, and the American people are looking at that and thinking, okay, this is not presidential. This is not what we expect from our leader. And at this point, he doesn't appear to either understand that or care. I'm not sure. Maybe it's both. But because of that, it's alienating. We don't know from day to day. From what I hear, it's usually early morning tweets. He can't sleep. He gets up and he says things, and they're very short, and most times they are not necessarily truthful things. So, it's just really, really sad that we have a person, after having an eloquent president, a former president who was so eloquent and being able to stand before the public and say the things that needed to be said to reassure people and whatnot. Right now, each time a tweet comes out, I am inside. It makes me nervous, because I'm just not sure who he's going to offend next. What else is he going to say to enrage or incite more division? And that's something that we cannot stand. I mean, usually when there's division, it appears to me it's usually because of economic hard times. And that seems to evoke a lot of responses from people who are ill-informed or, ignorant, by lack of a better word. But the things that he's saying now are dangerous, in my opinion. They're dangerous. And I'm just hopeful that the people who surround him or talk to him are able to pull him back. I don't know if that's going to happen, because thus far it doesn't seem to have had any real impact on him. But that needs to stop. It really needs to stop.
Exactly, and I think that maybe if people that are around him weren't afraid of his reaction and his well, I'm going to get you for this, or I'm going to get you for that. Maybe they would speak up. Because you use the word alienated. Now, this man is alienated. country and many other nations around the world, okay? Plus his base is eroding. There's no way that under the way he's conducting himself right now, that some of those grandiose ideas of his during his run for president will materialize. Okay, he can't resurrect the Sun Belt and the Rust Belt. All right, coal is like is antique in many ways and in many places around the country. It's all about solar energy. Okay, things that are renewable, that are renewable. So, what is your thoughts?
Well, I, as the president said before, this is a new kind of presidency, and he will not cave into any kind of monkey business. And he will say what he believes. He has stated more times than one that he believes that the kind of president that the people elected is the kind of president that you see. This is what he believes. And people have to guess what people are saying to them, how they're spinning stuff in a subservient way, clandestine way, to get you to buy whatever they put out there. Here's something the president will say above board, and you examine it, and you pay attention to it. And no one person runs this country. Absolutely not. I don't care how big the person is, how much power he's got, how much money he's got, what color he is. Does not run the United States of America. It's the people that run this country. And we're part of that part. We're part of the process. We can complain against the president if that's what the Constitution allows you to do. You can correct it, and through this process of evaluating, we can correct his course and direction if we think it's wrong. And I don't think what he's done to many of the people that he's alienated has been harmful. But he has checked a lot of people. It used to be that no one person criticized the rich people. No one person criticized white people in this country. But he does. And it's that there's somewhat of a balance for those who have been left behind. Because now we can kind of rise a little bit, like mammals did when the dinosaurs were here. So there's a lot of good things to say about the President of the United States. And not all is said and done until the Congress acts.
I have a question for you, actually, too. You said that he is critical of the rich and also whites. Could you give me some examples of that?
Well, let's see. He has gone after the rich.
How?
He has, by name, some of the rich people that, and then I can't recall the name right now. You have me at a disadvantage. Maybe the one who owns all of the railroad transportation cars that take oil from the sands down to
Not the Koch brothers, not the.
no, not them.
Mhm.
But there are others.
There are others, okay.
And that's why initially, during the election, the rich people backed away from Donald Trump. If you recall. Do you recall that?
No,
Yes,
they seem to have flocked to him, in my opinion.
No, they backed away from him. And I know where you're going with this, because it appears with the things that the press is writing about him, that his legislation is more favorable to rich people. But yet, the discussion that rises up from the bottom is that people want to fleece the rich. And we should not even want to fleece the rich, because we ourselves we have a lot of aspiration for people who want to be rich in this country. That's what makes us a great country. That gives us all the chance, a level playing field that we would like to achieve during our lifetime. That's still here.
Well, if we're going to talk about rich folks, we should be able to identify who these rich people are, supposedly.
Well, you can talk about London, talk about George Bush.
Right, okay, but, my question, back to you, Henry, was in reference to, the statement that you were saying was almost almost the same, well, he's equally, there's an opportunity for him to speak about everyone equally, and he's doing that. Well, I beg to differ with you, because most of the things that he says, it seems to incite divisiveness. It incites people to be angry, and in the meantime,
the anger was in you before.
No.
It was always in our country.
Well, anger, true. There's anger, but what I'm saying to you that it has inflamed it. It's made it emboldened, and people are saying and doing more things than ever. I mean, we're back to.
Are you doing that?
Am I personally doing it?
You
Absolutely not. But
are you, Ron? Are you practicing anger and going out and attacking people?
But there are those that are, and they have been emboldened to do it.
They have always been here.
They have been, but what I'm saying to you now, more and more, we have these episodes where people are saying and doing things because of the kinds of things that, come out of his mouth and or the tweets that he puts out there. To call somebody, flat out before Comey, and I know we'll be discussing him a little later on, but before he even, he's a nut job. That is just.
Yeah. It's like the British policy.
Yeah, but.
It's not presidential.
What's presidential?
Okay.
There's
a decorum. There's a decorum.
Patting you on the back.
Truthful and respectful.
Look,
Integrity.
Henry, in any position that a person has, if you look at it from the standpoint of being a judge, if you will, okay, there's certain qualifications and on, they have to be vetted, and then when they're there, they have to uphold a certain standard.
Yeah.
Okay, and they can't talk to people any kind of way.
No.
But you have this man who holds the highest position in the country, and yet he acts like a gangster to me.
And me.
Okay, my position is that he will say anything that he pleases instead of thinking before he says what
freedom of speech.
Absolutely, there's freedom of speech. But
okay,
yeah. But it's like the WWF. Anything that comes up comes out. And to be the kind of person who has been involved with as much as he says he's been involved with over the years, you would have thought that perhaps he would have learned something about relationships.
But Trump sees America as a different world than you see it. You see it as a traditional way of looking at it. We see it as the nation on the hill is sinking by other folks pressing it down.
And he's
he's
sinking it as well.
No, it was sinking before. We're becoming kind of a poor nation, and we're being hampered by the loss of resources and an increasing population. We're changing completely, and we think that we have money to burn forever, but we don't. We're not the wealthy country that we were 50 years ago. We're sinking. And everybody wants to have a check written out of the treasury to make their lives better.
No.
Raise them up.
So in order to using your argument, why would you build your budget on the backs of poor?
I don't know whether it's being built on the backs.
Look, if you look at what he's doing, he's cutting. Well, look.
You must cut the budget.
You can cut the budget, but why would you build the military force, expand that, and take that from social programs? Why would you do that?
But why not? We don't go to bed hungry here.
See, millions of people go hungry every day. All right, 1 out of 5 children, all right, go hungry every night in America.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with the people that have things. All right, they don't believe that.
I see the schools. I know what goes on.
No, well, you might see that.
The most vulnerable people are the kids in school and the older people. I don't see people going to school. I see a lot of homeless people that choose to be homeless, if they will.
Nobody really chooses that.
There are jobs for everybody. There are a lot of jobs.
What planet did you come from?
There are a lot of jobs around. There are jobs in McDonald's, there are jobs cutting lawns, there's jobs, all kinds of jobs. And people do not go to bed hungry as you see them.
Does your school have a lunch program?
Yes, it does.
Why does it have a lunch program?
Because it's mandated by the federal government.
Because why? Because they know
Because some
nutritionally, they
Some
know
kids don't.
it's millions of folks that need those programs, okay? It's millions of elderly that need these programs. We can sit back here, and talk this mess because we got an income, all right?
Yes, we do.
And and that makes us not relate.
How much
to
money do
the
you
poor.
give back to institutions to help feed the poor? Other than
Every
Or
check I get.
Do you give back to college and university?
Every check
So
I
it's like
get.
American college. How much do you give a year?
About $1,000. How much do you
It
get?
does-
I give at least 500.
Okay, well, listen,
This is my own.
but we're digressing.
No, we're talking about feeding the needs of those who are poor. We have a responsibility.
Yeah, we
But it does not
absolutely
have to
do.
come out of government waste.
Listen, let me tell you something. We pay our taxes, okay? We pay federal, and we pay state, and we pay city. That federal money that's being taken out of my paycheck goes to support this government, this
That's right.
economy in this United States. So therefore, I feel as though I do have a right to
But you're
speak
not
on
the
it.
only one.
And you have a
Many are
voice.
multiple.
Absolutely, I
Pay into
am.
the pot.
Oh,
And that
absolutely.
pot, once they pay into it, the money should be responsibly used.
And if it's not, we, the people, should be able to speak about that. And that's what we're having this discussion about
Exactly.
right now. Because here we are, going back to the idea that this man tweets about any and everything. And what he cares about, the budget, if you will, is not a lot. All he's concerned about is making sure that those persons who own businesses are getting tax breaks so that they can continue on.
Who
And
creates the jobs in this country? It's
business owners, but guess what? A lot of them have already taken their businesses and going for cheaper labor across the water.
Yeah, but that's coming back.
And we
Yeah,
all-
slowly,
and we
We
all-
all get that back.
Yeah,
It's a process.
Yeah, but why,
Overnight.
but why did they do it in the first place when they know that they had American workers here? American workers who were able and willing to work. And you talking about the homeless, they created that problem. It didn't have to be. I mean, you think about Enron, just use, there's several companies that have folded and have done some stuff that was mismanagement and criminal. But beyond that, they have taken jobs.
We don't tear the country down for
Well,
one business.
look at the financial situation.
No, several businesses.
We need to.
We have to look at the fact that those persons impacted cities, because for every job that was lost, even in General Motors here in Flint, Michigan, we had one job, General Motors job, that affected 5 to 6 other businesses because those persons could not go out and purchase and buy and do the things that they wanted to do.
Whose fault was that?
General Motors, yes,
Listen.
yes.
General Motors was not in business to be philanthropists for the public. They were in business to make money.
That's true.
And they gave everybody 8 hours pay for 8 hours work if you gave them back. That was a fair exchange.
It was a
And
fair
once the-
exchange.
once the
However,
business- Hey, hang on. Once people rose up, the middle class, decided to buy foreign automobiles, reduce the market share for General Motors here, where they were employed by them, they helped to kill that industry.
So now they go to China and build a $2 million plant, right?
Yes, they do. And there's a reason for that.
here's my
That they
concern.
have to, in order to be
Here's my
profitable,
concern.
they have to.
Here's my concern is the fact that not only did General Motors decimate this area, but they left it as a brownfield. They didn't even have the
The
decency to.
people benefited because
They
of
didn't
the
have
brownfield.
they didn't have the
Hang on,
decency
We-
to clean the place up.
Oh,
that
yes,
put-
they did.
Oh, no, they
come on.
did.
I worked for General
Look at the
Motors.
poison water. Look at if they
They
were
did
going to
not.
clean up something. Look
They
at the
did
poison
not.
water.
There's
all right?
not poison water.
It
The
is
water was
poison
meeting
water.
all of the
You know.
regulatory standards when
I don't know who you've been listening to because it's a bunch of bull. All right, poison water. It's 15 people that already died.
I
They
don't
call it
believe that.
Legionnaire disease.
They
all
died
right?
of something else.
No,
No.
you know,
No, it's easy to.
let's deal with the reality here.
Now, this is fake news.
Not
Oh,
the
goodness,
BS.
yeah, you've been hanging out
Fake
with him.
news.
You've been hanging
Yeah.
out with your president.
Everything should be evidence-based.
It is
You guys are
evidence-based.
Picking stuff out of the
Oh, no.
Gee.
Boy, you know, and now see, now you really sound like, you know,
Trump.
you bought into that whole ideology. You know, divert, deflect, and all this other foolishness. You're too intelligent a man to be sitting here telling us that nonsense.
What kind of nonsense? What was nonsense about that?
Everything you just said, those last few
Oh,
statements.
General Motors.
Yes.
Yeah.
General
We
Motors.
couldn't-
General Motors.
We didn't
Look.
protect the hand that fed us.
Listen,
And what you
every
were-
time General Motors wanted a tax break or anything
It
like
didn't
that,
get. No,
listen,
No.
City Hall, they were filled to the brim. When it was time for voting on getting some tax incentives for General Motors, most times 8 or 9, 10 people in the audience. But when they wanted changes so that it would benefit General Motors, that audience was packed full of people, okay, union workers and the like, because they knew how it was going to affect the bottom line for General Motors.
Well, there were some school systems also that was trying to rape General Motors as well. And you remember the lawsuit we had, and General Motors sued the school district, and I won't name the school district, for all the money that it had come, $40 million. But I won't mention the school district.
Well, I don't know anything
You
about
have to
that.
go back to Journal and read that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I will.
that's because they were paying too much taxes to the school district.
Well,
No, guys, no, they did the best they could. I'm sure that we could have had industry here if we had a bargain for it. We had been smart enough to do it.
We were
We didn't
smart
have
enough.
to-
They used us
They
up,
didn't
and
have
then they
General
said,
Motors
"We're
did not
done."
have to leave here.
General Motors left because it was a plan to leave.
Yeah,
They
it was.
said, "Listen,
When they-
we're gonna
the
exploit, and do what we're
Mhm.
gonna do in this area here until we've had enough. We've done enough. We've taken advantage of enough,
Mhm.
and then we're moving on to greener pastures." And that's what they did.
Okay,
That's
what has
exactly
to
what they
happen before a company leaves an area? What has to happen? What's the downside? What picture has to develop first?
All
Why
kinds.
would they leave?
Why would they
They're
leave?
making a great product, they're selling it all over the world, why would they move?
To their bottom line. That's why
Bottom
they
line,
Mm-hmm.
they were
Always.
not profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Their insurance was too much.
Mm-hmm.
Their compensation too much. The cost of regulations to restore the water in the air and the soil, that became very costly.
So why shouldn't they restore the water in the soil?
They're the ones that messed it up.
Exactly.
And you guys benefited from it.
So
Well,
what
he said.
I didn't say I didn't. But, and then you say, it's their fault.
It is.
It is all of our fault.
No, it's General Motors.